Hey YouTube, Southwest252 here with another video, and this time it's of another review and comparison. This time it'll be of the Gemini jets and NG models, Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8 in the Canyon Blue retro livery. But before I get into this comparison, I would just like to say I would really appreciate it if you could check out my Instagram, and the link for that is in the description below. So before I go over the two models, I will go over the Gemini Jets box. You can watch the full review of the NG models version in the link in the description. So this one will be mainly focusing on the Gemini Jets version with the NG model one, just to compare off to the side. But focusing on the Gemini Jets box, it's your standard white Southwest box with no flap. But you do have the Gemini Jets 25th anniversary logo in the top left, made for collectors by collectors in the top right. There is the computer-generated image of this aircraft. It does say Boeing 737 MAX 8 Southwest in the bottom right. On the bottom of the box, you do have your standard Gemini text 1/400 scale die-cast model, highly collectible, superior quality, realistic metal landing gear, detailed printed graphics, and as real as it gets features. On the left side of the box, you do have some of the same things, but you do also have the item number, which for this model is GJSWA2187. On the top of the box, it says adult collectible model, warning contains small parts, unsuitable for children under 14 years of age. And then the right side is the same as the left side. And on the back of the box, you have the as real as it gets features, which you can pause and read. Also, don't forget to check out the Gemini Jets social media. And this is an officially licensed Boeing and Southwest product, 2023 Gemini Jets release. Now that is all for the box. Now for the model and models. So this is the Gemini Jets version on the right. This is the NG models version on the left. So, of course, you do have your mold differences. The nose gear for the Gemini Jets one is a little bit taller. I would say the NG one is probably slightly more accurate. Gemini Jets one's maybe just a little bit too tall. You do both have the cockpit windows painted on, the pitot tubes, and the nose cone. Nose gear, they both have the 872 and ETOPS written on them. That's right, this is an ETOPS certified aircraft, so you'll find this on any of Southwest routes. That includes all the way out to Hawaii. You have your nose gear on both of the models. All the nose gears do roll and are rubber. The Gemini Jets one is a little bit more chunky than the NG models one, which is clearly evident here. Also, moving back up to the nose, they both have the Colleen Barrett sticker on them. That is who this aircraft is dedicated to. You do have your L1 door here on the Gemini Jets version, R1 door on the NG models version. Also, I haven't pointed it out just quite yet, but the coloring, you can obviously tell, is different on both of the models. The NG one is more bold than the Gemini Jets version. However, I don't really want to criticize either of them because just like a lot of Southwest liveries, it really does change under lighting on the actual aircraft, and over time as well as it fades. So the NG models one is more like under very bright light, and as well as when it's freshly painted. The Gemini Jets one is more after the aircraft has faded, coloring a bit. So those remaining few Canyon Blue 737-700s you might see flying around will look more like the Gemini Jets version. However, right now the MAX 8 would probably look a little more like the NG models version. So again, neither is wrong, I would say. Just under different conditions is where you'd see it like this. So I don't think either's wrong, so I think they're both pretty good. On the Gemini Jets one, you do have, of course, the passenger doors. You do have your engines. Now, on the Gemini Jets one, I do like the shape of the Gemini Jets engine better than the NG models engine. On top, the NG models one is a little bit more flat. Gemini Jets does get that curve a lot better. However, you can see that the quality control isn't perfect on the Gemini Jets one. It is slanted upwards slightly, so that is disappointing. You also have the overwing exit, emergency escape exit doors and routes, and then one antenna on top. You have your red flat fairings. You do have your red on the outside of both main gears. The NG Models one is supposed to. It does have it on the right side. However, on mine, there's a quality control issue with the left one being left gray. So that does give Gemini an advantage in that category. However, the engine also brings down the quality control category for Gemini jets. So really, there are pros and cons to both of them. Next up, you've got your winglets. Now, NG and Gemini have both done this, obviously, because the real aircraft has this, but on this one, the bottom half of the winglet is painted gray, just like the standard Heart livery. I don't know why Southwest has done that, but that is a Southwest thing, not a Gemini Jets or NG Models thing. And you also, to fit it on the Max winglet, the Southwest.com is smaller. And the way that each company has done it is slightly different. NG's is kind of in the middle, you can tell there. It's kind of hard to see. It is more further up, but it is kind of in the middle. On the outside, it's even better to see. Gemini Jets gets it pretty much right up in the right. So I think Gemini Jets has done a slightly better job at that than NG. Then you have your Wi-Fi dome towards the back. I do believe it should have the white. At least it does on the Heart livery. I'm not actually sure on this Canyon Blue. The NG version does not have that, so I'm actually not sure who's correct there. But you do move towards the back. Again, the registration for this model is November 872 Charlie Bravo. You've got the American flag on the tail, and then the Southwest tail for the Canyon Blue. Also above the door in the back, it does say 872 and ETOPS. You do have on the other side the cargo luggage doors there in the front. You can see, and then in the back to the bottom right of the registration. Now, since I've already given you the views of the NG Models version in its dedicated review, I'll just do the Gemini Jets one here. So here is the front view of this aircraft. There's the right side. There's the back view. There's the left side. Here's the top view. And here's the bottom. So you do have the nose cone painted on again. You have your nose gear. Again, all the gears are rubber and do roll. Gear doors, all of the red. You do have a stand hole in the middle of this Gemini Jets one, the NG one. It does not, so you can't put that on a stand if you do use a stand, but on the Gemini Jets one you can. Again, here are your main gears, your underneath the wings, your red flat fairings, move towards the back, it transitions to the orange, and then the Canyon Blue. Again, and there's your tail scraper, your doors for the APU, and the APU itself all the way in the back. Now, one more thing I did forget to mention about the winglets is that on Southwest's Max 8s, the paint doesn't actually go all the way to the bottom, or I should say the base of the wing. It does stop slightly above it. I'm not sure why that's the case, but it's like that on the Heart livery and as well as the Desert Gold Retro. But on the Gemini Jets one, there you can see there's just too much space between where the paint stops and the gray all the way down to the base of the wing. But NG has done a very good job of doing that. It's just a very small amount. So again, that's where I think NG did better. But as I've said through the review, there are a couple things that I think Gemini did do better. So they each have their pros and cons. In the review of the NG Models version, I do believe I gave it a score of 29.5 out of 30. Could have been a 29, but I believe I gave it a 29.5 out of 30. But for the Gemini version, I'm giving it a score of 28.5 out of 30, just for those other quality control issues that I did mention and the problems with this mold. So that's going to be it for this review. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button down below and consider subscribing to my channel if you're new. And once again, I would really appreciate it if you could check out my Instagram, and the link for that is in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Bye.
We would like to point out the safety features of this Boeing 737-700 series aircraft. You're looking at the Southwest Airlines bestseller. It's a safety information card. It's in the seat pocket in front of you. It works as a fan for no extra charge. You're welcome. And it reads as a comic book. It has a lot of short stories. None of them ends well. Absolutely.